from some of our alums, and we're going to talk about a journey from growth and grit. My name is Sarah Dewar, and I am a program manager here on the early career team at Forté. Thank you all again so much for being here. We are really excited for today's informational session. If you are new to Forté, I want to quickly go over why Forté matters and the important work we're doing of fueling the future of business. Forté is doing this through a powerful network of influential companies, leading undergraduate and graduate business schools, talented women and individuals such as yourself, and pioneering donors that make all of our programs and events possible. So if you're returning to our network or our events, thank you for coming back. If you are new, welcome to this community of rising women in business. If you're wondering, okay, what else is Forté doing? We really are working to make the MBA, in our case, on this pre-MBA team, the MBA a reality for you, helping you reimagine what's possible within your career, whether you're looking to change industries or just make a small pivot, advance your career. We have some resources and partnerships that are really going to help you build that network, gain access, have role models, and have the professional training and leadership development that you need. Last but certainly not least, we are also working very hard to make the MBA a financial reality for you all by offering Forté Fellowships. These are some of the awards our partner schools, our member schools are able to offer, again, to break down that financial barrier of obtaining your MBA. Natalie here is a great example of the difference some of our gifts from our generous donors are making. Certainly, again, allowing events such as forums and other pre-MBA exploratory events possible so that you all can continue building your network and leveraging the powerful Forté network. Quickly, I want to invite you to join us at some other upcoming MBA prep events that we might be having. You are welcome to scan that QR code, so please join us. These are free events, and we'd love to have you there to learn more about our programs and some of the offerings we have. You can also find these sessions available live stream on YouTube, or the recording can be found there afterwards. Today's session, we are going to be primarily talking about our MBA application prep program. So at Forté MBALaunch is the flagship prep program that we have. There are several different options or variations of this program. If you are aiming for January deadlines or building your application right now, looking for a little bit of help to take it to the next level, get it ready to submit, you'll definitely want to check out our MBALaunch hybrid program. And if you have a little bit more time on your hands, maybe you consider yourself MBA curious, or you know you're not going to apply this application cycle, but in a future application cycle, the MBALaunch cohort version or live program is the one that I would strongly suggest for you. That is the program that our alums are here from today. So you will hear about their experience, what their journey was, and where the program has helped them get. In general, regardless of what it is your timeline is, any of the versions of our MBALaunch program are going to really offer different levels or variations of these major pillars here. So I mentioned it is an application prep program. Accountability and community are two of the most sought after features of the program by our participants. You also do receive discounts on partner services and fee waivers to our member schools. And again, this our features of all three programs of our MBALaunch are all variations. So just to reiterate here, which program might be right for you? Primary driver or factor in this decision is certainly going to be your timeline or when you're hoping to submit your application. So if you are applying to MBA programs right now or aiming for January deadlines, looking to start your MBA in fall of 2026, the hybrid program is right for you. If you are looking to apply in fall of 2026 or later and start your MBA in fall 2027 or later, you'll want to check out our live or our cohort-based program. That program starts in February. And again, that's the one we'll be discussing today. Just another quick visual here, the main difference. I mentioned some varying levels of accountability and community, a few different durations of the programs available. Again, biggest factor will be where you are in the process and what your application timeline is. Moving right on to our live cohort-based program. This here is a quick class profile, or if you will, or cohort profile. You can see this program is very large, so you are getting a very big and robust community, very diverse community in terms of educational backgrounds, industry experiences, ethnicity, citizenship, or geographical location. I also like to point out that our program is open for anyone, regardless of your current location or your citizenship status, and regardless of which program format you might be interested in. So our panelists today are both interested in full-time programs, so you'll get their perspective. However, if you are thinking of part-time or executive MBA, certainly you won't be alone in the cohort with those goals in mind. There is an application process for the MBA Launch Live program. Do not let this overwhelm you. This should be like super easy compared to what your future MBA applications are. And now that both of our alums have worked through applications, I'll let them kind of fill you in on that and what their comparison might be. But generally, if you're here in today's session, you will have enough information for you to go ahead and submit your application to our live program. Maximum, I would say 2 hours worth of time. So you're self-reporting a lot of information for us. You are sharing your LinkedIn profile, your resume, and your essay. Generally in the essay, we're looking to understand what your MBA goals are, what your mission alignment is with Forté, and your desire or your commitment to a live application prep program. Before we turn it over to the panelists here, I do want to share, thank you for being here. You can use this promo code here, FortéFam26. It's all caps, no spaces. This will take $20 off your $35 application fee, so only $15 for you if you use that code. I do want to call attention to our next deadline is October 31st, so you can apply now until October 31st. You will then hear from us on November 11th, and you will be able to confirm your enrollment by November 21st. This is important to make sure that you're getting early access to some of our resources and getting started on kind of the pre-programmed tasks. The next deadline after this is in December, so you won't even hear back from us until mid-January, and that butts up right against our February start. So apply sooner rather than later to ensure you're getting all of the pre-work, you're getting comfortable with things prior to us getting started in February. And now, I am going to welcome our two alums here, MBA Launch alums. I'm going to stop sharing and I'll start with introductions, Emma and then Marina, if that's okay with you, to do some introductions.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see everyone. My name is Emma. I was in the MBA launch class of 2023. I did MBA launch a little bit earlier than my application cycle. So I applied last year and just started business school this year at Duke, the Fuqua School of Business. So I'll be set to graduate in 2027. Just a quick overview of my career before MBA. I graduated college in 2020 and spent 5 years in DC. I worked on the Hill for a little bit in human rights and international relations. And then I worked for a trade association in energy for 2 years, and mostly in communications and stakeholder relations. And then I worked for a boutique consulting firm for a few years. It was really interesting. It kind of combined lobbying with communications and general management. And I'm looking towards a general management track after graduation, or specifically working in energy and climate. But there's a lot of really interesting careers to explore in an MBA, so certainly keeping an open mind. But I love the MBA launch program. I do not think I would be able to be where I am today without it. So I'm really excited to tell everyone more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Marina?
Yeah, hi everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Marina. I just basically finished the launch program a few months ago. I was in the 2025 cohort, also live. And before thinking about applying for my MBA, I had my graduation in 2020, like Emma. Crazy time to graduate. And then I started and founded a beauty company called Say La Beauty, where I made sustainable and ethically sourced beauty products. And after that, pivoted into what I'm doing now, which is marketing for clinical trials. So it's like my job to let people know if there's a clinical trial that they might qualify for. But I miss beauty. So post MBA, I want to pivot back into the beauty space, hopefully working for a big conglomerate like L'Oreal, Estee Lauder on a product innovation team.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is such a great foundation because I feel like a lot of people generally at these sessions are like, oh, I'm non-traditional. I don't know if business school is right for me. And so I think some people will be relating to you all at this point, but let's jump into the questions. Attendees, I want to encourage you to use the Q&A feature. If you do have questions for either of our panelists or us Forté in general, we should have some time at the end to kind of tune into some of those questions. So please use that Q&A feature and make sure you check out the links that Ashley dropped in the chat as well. I think those will take you to some really good resources that might be helpful. But let's just jump right on in. So MBALaunch flagship application program. Marina, you just finished the program. Emma, you did a few years ago, but mentioned you wouldn't be where you are without Launch. Can you guys talk a little bit about how you discovered MBALaunch, or at what point in your decision to get an MBA were you like, oh man, maybe this program really will be helpful for me? And I'll start with you, Emma, if that's okay.
Yeah. My big realization when I started thinking about MBA programs was that I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to apply. And there weren't that many people in my network. I had a few peers who were thinking about it at the same time. And so someone else had found the resource and recommended the MBA Launch program to me. And once I looked through it and saw everything that uh, it really took you through step by step and helped you be accountable for everything, I I said, that's exactly what I need. I ended up I ended up getting a job offer simultaneous with getting into the program. So I had intended to do the program with like concurrent with applying, and then it didn't end up that way. I took the job offer, decided to work that for 2 years, and then apply. But if anyone is sort of in that frame where they're not sure if they might start a new job, or they aren't sure if they want to apply this year, I would recommend doing it earlier. I found it really useful. There were some gaps in my resume that I had more time to build out on. There was more time to have conversations, visit schools, network with people. So I found it really valuable doing it ahead of time, but I certainly have made many friends through the program who did it very quickly when they were applying, and that's totally possible too.
Yeah, I think for me, I hadn't been familiar with the Forte Foundation until I started really early in my MBA journey touring schools, and I was asking about scholarships, and I kept hearing Forte, Forte, and I was like, what is this? So for me, it was kind of a happy coincidence where I went on the website and I saw this program, and I was already starting to feel a bit overwhelmed with the whole MBA application journey. It's not a world I'm super familiar with. I don't know any women with MBAs that I could consult. So I think just the support, and I was really impressed by what we'll talk about later. The value that we are getting for this program was very impressive to me. And so just that mutual support and accountability and pacing was my biggest thing. Like how do I know what I should be working on right now? I didn't want to do it as an island. So that's what drew me to the program.
Awesome. So I hear you both talking about the accountability and the community being really important factors in joining, in addition to kind of that timeline and just overall, like, what am I doing? Because you don't really know what you don't know at that point. What do you think would be the most important resource that you can say now, looking back afterwards, that you maybe it surprised you in the program, you weren't expecting it to be so helpful? Anything with Launch that you got that you were like, oh, this is a nice bonus? Either of you.
Okay,
You
I'll
can.
give you. Okay. Okay, so I think for me, I was surprised by what drew me to the program was specifically the application waivers. And also for me, the discount on a test prep course was huge. And also the fact that I got to do test prep with other people from Forte, and we were all kind of on this journey together. The test was freaking me out, and Sarah's laughing because she and I have been chatting about that. So just that support was going to be incredible. And also just having the badge you get, basically the like credit, the certificate of completion once you've done this program, to say that you're committed to Forte's values and you've been part of this organization in some way, was very valuable to me, especially come application time.
Definitely agree with all of those points. And I think looking back on it, what kind of rose to the surface as the most valuable, because there are so many valuable parts in it, was, the process is very individual. Like you don't want to write an application that sounds like everyone else's applications. And with that kind of process comes specific questions. And I wanted to understand how I could be able to ask those questions of credible people without spending a lot of money on a consultant. And so I really valued through the program, you do get exposure to consultants. They do webinars, you're able to have free consults with them, discounts if you do want to work with them. And so that was helpful in shaping the narrative of my application, how to actually build on my non-traditional background and make it stand out in a way that's positive. And then once I was actually going through the process and, trying to decide where to apply, and once I had offers, like what to do with that, being able to ask specific questions in office hours with, wonderful supports like Sarah and Ashley was a huge differentiator, because I think when you are sort of in this island that Marina was talking about and you have those questions, you don't know who to ask. And so having resources, people to really run those questions by, and build trust with and build community with, and with your peers too. And some, you're meeting people who are going through the same things. Sometimes they have the answers as well. That was like by far the most valuable part for me.
I appreciate you both saying that, because although it is a cohort and you will find value of going through the same things, the busy launch curriculum, the test prep, you all are working a full-time job and balancing just life in general, but you still have the option to build your best application as you as a unique individual. So like to Emma's point, you can, yes, all of you are being asked the same question in a larger MBA application, but your narrative and your story is what those adcoms really want to hear. So being able to have access to people to help you find that story and fine tune that can be really, really valuable throughout any application process. But back to the beginning of that, in terms of like the busyness, right? Marina, test prep. I know, Emma, when you were in the program, you were going through the test as well. You had just started a new job. You were certainly busy. Marina, you're working full time, as that is our expectation for all of the launchers, managing school visits, your launch weekly sessions, all of these things. What would you say your time commitment was, or how did you manage that, quite frankly? Emma, I'll start with you if that's okay.
Yeah, this isn't always the most popular advice, but we get this question a lot, and I I think just as being in actual business school will be, you can't do literally everything at once. And so I think if you commit to this and you decide that this is your priority and you want to do it this way, which is a very rigorous, very intentional, very successful way, then other things will have to become deprioritized. And so I just, when I was applying, had the conversation with myself where I, said, what's going to drop from my weekly schedule? Like, what am I going to disinvest in to do this instead? And that is really challenging, but I think I really led a minimalist approach to my schedule for a bit of time. But when you're trying to do it quickly, as the program is designed, time goes by fast. Like you'll probably be able to do the test quicker than you think, and you'll be able to write your applications quicker than you think. So it's all very temporary, and it's very worth it. So I think I would just say identify a few things that you are routinely doing that you can set on pause for a little bit, decide what your non-negotiable things are. And those are all skills that you'll need to continue in business school as well. So I found that actually like very good training for what I'm doing right now.
That's good. Life skills, as well as application tips and tricks to help you build a good application, transferable life skills from our program as well. Marina, how about you? Any tips or secrets you had for managing all of your time?
Yeah, so I think in my mind, I kind of had test prep in one bucket and then like the Forte launch tasks in another bucket. And I found that more of the Forte launch stuff for my cohort was kind of almost front loaded, so that by the time I really was starting to feel the pressure from the other application components, I found because we asked about like what the time commitment was. I think it was for most of the program like maybe 1.5 hours a week, maybe three when it was like most intense. But we're talking about like maybe 1 to 2 webinars that are an hour long and maybe a short article. It's I found it to be manageable is my point. Test prep has been quite a journey for me. I'm going to be super honest about that. In terms of tips, I've really leaned on my planner. If you have a planning system that works for you, I basically every Saturday night would sit down for like an hour and have all of my life things on my computer screen and just like time block out. But that took the pressure off for me because I had the whole week figured out and I could just kind of determine like, okay, so what should I be shifting into right now, whether it's test prep, work stuff, life stuff, work stuff. You have so much on your plate. But the other thing I just wanted to say is this has been kind of an invigorating journey for me. And being an MBA launch, I think hopefully some people will relate to this. You know, when you're thinking about starting your MBA, you might feel in a bit of a slump maybe at your career. You want something inspiring. And so I enjoyed the opportunity to sort of like be forced to take time to think about myself and like dream about my future and get really creative. And especially some of the branding sessions, personal branding sessions we had was just to really get deep into who you are. And I find that introspection, like I said, invigorating. So it didn't feel like a huge chore for me, but definitely staying organized, having your weekly routines, and prioritizing self-care. When I didn't prioritize self-care, I became less productive. Like spending less time on the stressful stuff, I was actually more productive when I didn't forget to eat, sleep, do yoga, all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it is. You have to take care of yourself first because you're not going to show up to work as you should, to your test prep as you should, to your applications as you should in your community. There's a question that came in, and I think it's an interesting question. A little bit of a concern with work schedule, unsure how likely they will be to attend some of the sessions live. Will they be recorded? How much of the program is structured? Did either of you have occasional work conflicts that you had to manage? And how did you catch up on content, or what resources did you use when it was like a busy time at work or life and you had to prioritize that above your launch stuff for the time being?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I had a really hard time making any of the sessions during the day. And I think that that ended up being completely fine because it's great to be able to join into those live sessions when you're able, but there are so many resources outside of that one session that you can take advantage of, where even if you say you watch the recording, and they are all recorded, so you watch the recording later and you think of a question that you would have asked, well, chances are that you're able to ask that question of that presenter at some point if you want to, or you can circle back with your peers. And there are just so many ways that you can use that opportunity to interact with other people that I really valued. I think if you have constant conflicts that you know that you'll have at each time, I also think that's okay. Last minute conflicts, like this is designed so that it fits into your life. And I think that's the thing that I found most valuable is that it was so flexible in that, if you're a morning person and you're going through and you're blocking your time and you decide that, you after you work a full day, you can't do this. You need to like wake up and do it in the morning. Like, you can do that. You can wake up, watch the recording from the day before, do your reading for the next week or whatever it is. And you can find like-minded people as well. Like you can reach out to people in your smaller groups or even just people that are in the program in your area. I know a lot of people who organized test prep groups. So like every Sunday they would meet at a coffee shop, and from 9 to 11 they would all study the same like GMAT GRE topic, and they'd run through timed problems and things like that. So I would just say this is a pick your own adventure, uh with accountability, which I think is really rare, because I feel like a lot of programs are either pick your own adventure and you can easily get lost and get behind, or they're pick your own adventure and it's really hard to keep up. It's too stringent. And this is a good combination of both of both of those approaches, I think that works really well for people who are working full time.
Yeah, and on my end, I'll say I knew so many people that like they were not able to attend some of the live or a lot of the lives. And so they would just, yeah, like Emma was saying, on your own time, watch the recording. And I mean, it's they're on Zoom, right? So like you could be making your dinner and like listening, just like have your phone propped up, and if there's a slide you want to look at and take a screenshot, like if you're watching the recording, or it's during lunchtime too, so sometimes I'd be making my lunch and I have my phone propped up and I take a screenshot if I need to. Um, but so I found that flexibility great, but the difference is you still have that gentle like accountability of making sure that you're checking off the live sessions as you go, but it's not so restrictive as like you need to be here in class sat at 12 p.m. every Tuesday. There's like a little bit of of room to breathe because we're all working hard. We all have a lot on our plates.
Yeah, I think you both summarized it really well. There is a certain level of flexibility. It's a balance between us understanding where you all are, working full time, managing a million things at once, but also the understanding of how important the community is and getting out of it what you put into it and the benefit of being with each other weekly. So to answer the question in a logistical, programmatic side, each of the sessions will be recorded. Typically our weekly sessions are on Tuesdays, either 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern or 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. All of them are recorded. So if you do have to miss a session for a conflict, the recording is available usually within a couple hours. I say 24 hours. So my suggestion always is, if you know you're going to miss, be intentional and schedule time of when you're going to watch that recording that same week. We would like you to watch it within a manageable time, just as in your professional world. If you missed a meeting because you had an appointment or you were on PTO, it's kind of your responsibility to make that up and get the tasks and the to-dos and understand what happened in that professional setting while you were out. So same thing with us. And again, the sessions, to Marina's point, they are webinars. So you all are not on camera. So you can be making lunch or eating lunch or doing something there, but attending live gives you the chance to ask your questions to the panelist or to the speaker presenter at that particular time, to actually get those questions and some engagement with them throughout the session. The other thing that I kind of want to pivot to in terms of, Marina, you said that you're taking advantage of the application waivers was a big thing for you at first, and then the discount on the test prep. Certainly not a secret that the program can be an investment, just as hopefully everyone here knows that an MBA is also going to be an investment in their future. Can you talk a little bit, Marina, I'll start with you, in terms of justifying that upfront cost? Now looking back, what are things that you maybe should have taken more advantage of, or feel really lucky that you had the option to take advantage of?
Yeah, so I think for me, even just doing a little bit of research on the other options for programs with this much, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I had applied for a scholarship and I didn't get it, and I still decided to join the program, because I was doing the math in my head and realizing that the program was going to pay for itself with dividends pretty quickly, and without, even if I didn't discover that I had time to take advantage of all the resources I want to, I knew the program was still going to pay for itself in terms of the waivers. Like I mentioned earlier, for me, the discount that I got on my test prep. I didn't mention earlier what became valuable more so to me earlier because I was saving it, but I just think that the community has been so phenomenal, and I would absolutely recommend this program to anybody else because of the incredible women that I've had the chance to meet, who have helped me, who I've helped. My group was very intentional about having our monthly meetups in person. If you end up in a group and you're able to do that, I highly recommend it. Just because sometimes an MBA application journey can feel a little bit isolating if others can't relate, or like, we'd have our monthly brunch and we'd be like, man, everyone else is at the beach and I'm here trying to remember geometry from high school. This sucks. Like, you just have those low moments, but everyone else at the table is on that journey with you. And we'd all just look at each other and offer mutual encouragement, say, remember why you did this? Who are you doing this for? Who's helped you get to this place? Just that really simple feeling of not being alone has been incredible. And the other thing I'll say is just the mentorship. whether from my test prep instructor or having incredible meetings with some of the program partners. And also, I have to give a huge shout out to Sarah, who I've been meeting with regularly for a few months, and she's just been the most phenomenal support when I'm laughing because I'm just remembering I was, freaking out, and she would just like offer really great wisdom. So the people make it worth it. But even if you don't have time to get to know all those people, I still think it will be worth it.
Thank you. And thanks for the shout out. I always tell launchers it's so rewarding and it's unbelievable that like I get to help you all remember what your purpose is and why you're doing this and kind of troubleshoot and coach you through some of those challenging moments. And I appreciate you talking about the community, not just your peer group. And so to give some context for the attendees here, you will join this cohort, typically about 600 individuals working through the process the same as you. We have a cohort-wide Slack community, so you'll have access to anyone and everyone, whoever you want to connect with. There are different channels there. I know Emma mentioned the GMAT or the GRE specific channels. That's where you can find virtual help or an accountability partner if you need, or encouragement. Some of the channels are location specific. Some of them are identity specific. We have mothers in the program. We have Hispanic individuals in the program. We have LGBTQ members in our program, and they can find kind of community together within the cohort. And then those peer groups are those like 9 to 10 people, loosely geographically related. If you are in a large city like New York, or like Emma was in DC, then you probably will have some folks to be able to get together. But the connections in the community is yours to use. Sometimes it takes a little bit of intentional work to make that happen. But even now I'm seeing, the 2025 launchers are posting who's going to this visit weekend, who's doing this, and they're still kind of following up together. So it's really, really nice to see that community. I'm not saying any of you attendees, and certainly Emma and Marina, you all didn't need friends when you joined the program, but it's a nice kind of benefit of leaving the program, having some additional folks who went through the troubles, the trenches with you. Speaking of that, on the community, I know you both have kind of mentioned the access to admissions committee and industry consultants. How did you best take advantage of that, or the experts outside of the launch team? Of course, as a participant in the program, you always have access to us, but how did you manage those relationships, and how did you kind of efficiently use them to get the most out of that feature of the program? And Emma, I'll turn to you if that's okay.
Yeah, that was a hugely valuable part of the program. These schools have Forte representatives who've offered their time to meet with you all, and so you can go in and think about your school selection, what schools you are interested in applying to, and set up times to get to meet with these people. It's very hard to get one-on-one time with people on the admissions committee or tangential to the admissions committee, and so that's an incredible privilege and really sets you apart. In addition to that, I would say just being a part of the MBA launch is it's sort of like another school. So when you're on LinkedIn and there's someone that you might want to connect with at a school that you're interested in going to, you could say, "I saw you did MBA launch. Like I'm in the cohort right now," and the chances are, they will respond to you because you have that common connection. And so that was also really nice on the peer level. I mean, most people have the MBA launch in their on their LinkedIn, or you can tell that you're in the same Forte group on LinkedIn. Once you're in the cohort, you are added to that, and so those were really great connections to make. And there are so many people who become Forte fellows too. Like even if you don't see that somebody did Forte launch, but there's a Forte fellow at a school that you are hoping to get a scholarship at, you can reach out to them. That was definitely one of my main motivators for the program, is that I was really trying to maximize my chance at scholarship money. And I was able to talk very robustly with people about how they successfully did that. And that was really, really helpful too.
Thanks, Emma.
Yeah, and I think for everything that Emma said, 100%. For me, the biggest, I took the most advantage of the office hours with the admissions consultants. And I think for me, I actually have a tip. I wish I had spaced out those conversations a little more because I got so excited that I kind of like used them all up a little bit too quickly. So that's a nice tip, maybe like space it out. But those were very productive and helpful conversations, to just have like a 30-minute chunk of time to ask, hey, could you give me some feedback on my school list, like based on my profile, based on my practice tests so far? Is this like feasible? Is this reasonable? Do you have any feedback on how I can better communicate my story? And I would just take tons of notes and be super grateful for the time. That was really helpful. Also, we had a couple of um, extra like optional sessions where I don't know, Sarah, maybe you can explain this more. I attended someone who had been in the Forte program, had gotten into a ton of amazing schools. She held a small group. I went to two of these small group sessions to talk about like personal branding and managing time. And those were really small groups so we could all ask each other questions, and they were really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That's a good point. And another aspect of kind of the community connections that you'll make, in addition to having access to our team, AdCom members, current students, and alums at programs, we do also have alumni sessions as a feature within the program. So like Marina mentioned, alums of the program who maybe are in their MBA now, or maybe they've already graduated from their MBA, but they're coming back to talk to you and support you. It's kind of this whole notion of lifting while you climb and also paying it forward. You know, when Marina and Emma were in the launch program, they had others who navigated it before that were willing to kind of help them through it or pull them up to speed. And certainly, you know, Marina and Emma are doing that for you all now as attendees, helping make sure that you're prepared for this next journey that's coming. And so the alumni sessions are really great. Again, kind of an optional feature within the community connections. I know I've said it before, but you're going to get out of the program what you put into it. So for those who took advantage of those sessions and made time or prioritized those connections, certainly, as Marina mentioned, can be very fruitful. I'm going to transition, unless Emma, Marina, anything you want to add at this point in the conversation? We have some good questions coming in I want to jump to. Okay. Let's think back, if you can, to your MBA launch application. Okay, some time ago, right? For some, for Emma, a little bit of a time ago. What advice do you have for someone who might be looking to do their application, especially now knowing what the actual MBA applications are like?
I can start, so Emma, you can like, I'm sure you've lived 5 lifetimes since then. Like, so I didn't find the application to be too strenuous. Just I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like, and I was actually quite late to learning about this program. So I remember like I was working on mine, not that you have to do this, on like Christmas Day when everyone else was like taking a nap because we'd like you don't have to do that. I'm just saying it was not strenuous or stressful, so that I voluntarily did it then because I was excited about the program. So like everyone else was like, sleeping from having too much chocolate, and I was just typing away on my iPad. Um, I didn't find it too strenuous, too stressful, and I think it was made clear to me in an info session like this that it's not a trick. It's not the same level of scrutiny as like a job interview. It's just an honest representation of like, who are you? What are you going to bring to this community? Are you going to take it seriously? And they're just honest questions. Like I didn't find it to be too intimidating. And I find a lot of things intimidating. So like, please believe me when I say that.
Thank you.
Is there still a video component to it?
Yeah, the essay you can do written or video.
Okay. If anyone has an inkling for doing it on video, I would say go for it. I think, in this process, in the application process at large for business school, you want to do what you can to stand out. And if you're comfortable, like video is so much more engaging and interesting for people watching it. And you'll end up doing a lot of stuff like that in business school. So, might as well start now. But I think the thing that was so daunting to me about this whole process was that I felt like I had to fit into some sort of mold, that there was this like candidate that they were looking for, and I had to like subscribe to that. Whereas through the MBA launch, you'll learn that it's not about that. It's about like telling your story clearly. And so I think as much as you can start doing that now and start thinking about that now, um, the better off that you'll be.
Yeah, thank you. The application should not be daunting. Again, you're filling out a form. We don't need your transcripts. We just need you to self-report what your GPA is. You don't have to have official scores. If you have scores, great. You just self-report them to us. You are literally just sharing your experience with us. And here's the secret. Like, we know as an organization and as the pre-MBA team, Ashley and I and our colleague Melissa know that our program is successful in helping you reach your goals of getting an MBA. And so I would say we are selective. Certainly, we want to understand, like Marina said, that you're serious about the program, that you understand why you want an MBA, that you are aligned with Forte's mission. However, not competitive. And I think that was a question in there I think Ashley answered. So submit your application. If you have questions, you can email us. I'm happy to chat with you even before your application. But again, the fact that you're here today, if you're taking a look at some of the resources Ashley shared or watching some of our content that's on YouTube, you'll have enough information that you need to submit a competitive application to the MBA launch program. So thank you. I'm going to talk to you, Emma, on this question that just came through. And attendees, we will have some time for questions. You can keep dropping them. And Ashley, thank you for answering them as they come in. We'll keep taking some live as well. But Emma, there's a question from a Jewel in here. After you were admitted to your MBA program, have you used the MBA launch resources and how?
Yeah, so because recruitment starts so early when you get to business school, you're thinking all over again about the clarity of your narrative, which is a huge part of the MBA launch program. So I would say that, Marina mentioned earlier, like the personal branding sessions and some of those webinars. Like I literally I pulled out my notebook from the MBA launch and I opened it up and I like read my notes again. So I think these are highly transferable skills. Uh, I would say, especially for the clarity around your short and long-term goals, how you want to present yourself in applications and interviews. I have definitely revisited all of that uh, since being on campus. Between getting, finishing the program and being on campus itself, I definitely was networking with people, was excited to, get to know more people at the schools that I had gotten into. That was a big help in deciding where to go. And so definitely leaned on that community because I did the program a little earlier than I applied. I was very lucky in that many of my peers had already been in business school for a year by the time I was making my decisions. So that was really useful because I actually knew a few people who were at these places and I could get firsthand accounts of, if they thought I would like it there, what they liked about it. And so those are the ones that stand out. Was happy to leave the test prep stuff behind at that point.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that test. If you're here as an attendee and we join the program, you'll hear lots of hot takes from myself on the test and what that looks like for you all. But it's one thing we're happy to help you through. I know someone did ask a question already. Marina, you mentioned taking advantage of those test prep resources. So can you talk a little bit about which partner you use, which resources that look like, kind of overall what test prep might be available for someone in the program?
Yeah, so I did the I'm taking the GRE and I did the Manhattan Prep for Forte, like the exclusive course for Forte with Manhattan Prep to prepare for the GRE. It was it was 9 sessions long. We had a session once a week for 3 hours. So that was like the main thing. It's not an official resource, but I really leaned on the other Forte, like my Forte friends that were also doing the GRE, and like we kind of made that into our own amazing resource, just sharing like tips and articles. There's also a ton of, I believe, is it GMAC that's an official program partner, Sarah? Okay, so there's some other partnerships that offer like discounts, or I know that there was also a Manhattan Prep GMAT course. So there's like a whole section basically in this portal that you get when you join the program that shows you all of the discounts and discount codes that are available to you. And there's like a whole section for test prep. Um, yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I oftentimes forget in these sessions to really go logistically behind the scenes that we're using a learning management portal and we're tracking the curriculum or your process through the program. We're also providing those resources for you there so you have them at your fingertips, whether it is deciding that, oh, all of a sudden I heard about this school. Let me see if there's someone there I can connect with. Or, okay, I took the test. It's not really what I thought I could do. Maybe I'm going to look at some free resources or changing up my prep. So really kind of wherever you are in that process, it can be helpful. Or maybe you don't even know which tests you're taking. A big part of the program is helping you make those decisions, which tests to take, which program format am I interested? Maybe you don't have a school list yet. We're going to start off with a lot of those kind of reflective things, like Marina and Emma both mentioned, that personal branding, like who you want to be through this process. Why are you here? What are your values? How do you want to represent yourself as an MBA candidate and moving forward? And then where do you start from there? Are there specific factors that are going into your school decision? Is it geographical location? Is it program format? Maybe you're making a decision because of brand or reputation of some of our partner schools or scholarships that are available. All of those things are things that we're going to help kind of walk you through as we get to the program so you can get your wheels spinning. And again, you might be sitting here thinking, gosh, I don't even know what I don't know. And as we, come back full circle to the very beginning of this session, Emma said, I was thinking about an MBA, but I didn't know how to do it. Like, perfect. That's exactly it. We're going to help you. We want to show you through that. So, all right, I'm going to end with one last question. In terms of advice, just in general about this process, about thinking of an MBA, whether the attendees are MBA curious or they know they've been referred from a friend, they're just getting second opinions today. Emma, what advice do you have for them at this kind of pre-MBA stage?
I would encourage them to think about Forte as a larger component of their journey than even just at this pre-MBA stage. Like Forte is such a ubiquitous organization in the business world, and being on campus and having the opportunity to be in recruiting and seeing Forte in all these other ways, it's so great to be involved early. And I think that I would just say be as involved as you can as early as you can, understanding that this is an organization that you can and will be a part of for much longer than even just your cohort. And with that in mind, with all the pressure of all the things you're doing right now, knowing that you don't have to do it all right now. Like this isn't just a community or resources that you'll have just for this period of time. Like this can be as long of an involvement as you want. And so, if you don't have time to network with everyone in your cohort while you're doing the program, then don't. Like do what you can do to make it through this, and know that you'll have a lot more opportunities as well.
Thank you. Yeah, Forte for life. That's what we say. Marina?
Yeah, I think kind of similar to Emma's point. At this stage, I would encourage everyone to be really have an exploratory mindset, and to be really self-reflective and not afraid to go deep. And what I mean by that is there will be lots of MBA related tasks, things to write, emails to send, events to attend. But at this stage, I think to set yourself up with a really firm foundation, what's probably the most important thing, in my opinion, is knowing who you are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and what you want this journey to look like, and what kind of person do you want to become on graduation day? Like, who do you want to grow into? Because I think having done that internal work, it comes across to the people that you meet in the emails you send, at the events you attend, that sort of like confidence of knowing I know what I bring to the table. And this is more of a search process of finding where is it going to be the best fit, not which school is going to accept me. And I think Forte has been super helpful for me in really nailing down those finer points. If there are anything about introspection, staying inspired, anything with that sort of tone, I highly recommend attending it live if you can, just to really go deep. And sort of on the flip side of that, try not to compare yourself with other people that are on this journey because everybody is different. So as you go through this exploratory phase, visiting all the schools you can visit, talking to all the people, having fun with it to the best of your ability, don't get caught up in what other people are doing. Everyone has their own timelines. But what matters is you have that confidence that you know what you're bringing, you know who you are, and you know the story you want to tell at the end of this journey.
Amazing. That's like a mic drop if I've ever heard one. Uh, Thank you both so much for your time and your talent and your energy today, the inspiration that you've provided. Attendees, thank you for spending your time with us. If you do have questions, you can email us at premba@fortefoundation.org or visit our website, fortefoundation.org. One more time, the promo code, this is the discount on your MBA launch application. So taking that application fee from $35 down to $15, Forte Fam 26. Be sure you apply by October 31st to hear back from us by November. And again, thank you all for coming. We look forward to working with you all in the future.